Speaking of aging, there's this book that came out that talks about Joe Biden and the people around him seeing that he had cognitive and physical decline. Did you ever have a moment with him where you thought maybe he was unfit to run for president? No.
I thought he was a good president. The only concern I thought he had to deal with was, could anybody do that job until they were 86? And we'd had several long talks. I had never seen him and walked away thinking he can't do this anymore. He was always on top of his brief.
You never saw any cognitive decline?
So I didn't know anything about any of this, and I haven't read the book. I saw President Biden not very long ago, and I thought he was in good shape. But the book didn't register with me because I never saw him that way.
Why?
Back on the book Jake Tapper has put out, he's admitted on Megyn Kelly's program, he was been promoting the book everywhere, and he admitted to her that he has apologised to Lara Trump for dismissing her in a really quite a hostile manner when she raised issues about Joe Biden's cognitive decline back in 2020. Have a look.
I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline. Okay. That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You have no. That's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
When you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
It's all well and good to apologise and to be making these revelations now, Army, but it's too little too late in my book. And Jake Tapper was still covering up Biden's cognitive decline last year, almost right up until he dropped out of the re-election race. So what credibility does he have, and what damage is this book going to do to Joe Biden's legacy? because there does seem to be large swathes of the country who watch CNN, MSNBC and other leftist media who are surprised by these revelations, who seem to have completely missed what the rest of us have been reporting for the last 5 years.
I mean, the answer is self-evident. The media has no credibility, right? If one goes in forward history and says, okay, media died in America, and they point to when that happened, it happened during the Biden presidency. It happened when they were covering up for what they knew was his inability to govern. And of course, when they try to cover it up, even after that debate, which is when it actually it all blew open. Look, the question is, where do we go from here, right? How are they going to look at Republican conspiracy theories moving forward, right? Whether or not as Republicans talking about how the media has conspired on Russiagate and Russia, or our crazy idea that COVID came from a lab in Wuhan, right? Or that BLM wasn't really exactly mostly peaceful. These are all crazy conspiracy theories, right? Every single one of them obviously proved true. The question is, how are they going to treat the conspiracy theories of the right going forward? And Rita, I gotta admit, I highly doubt that they're going to take them any more seriously than they took them before, even though they were proven to be wrong and the conspiracy theorists were proven to be right time and time and time again. Look, they're still doubling down on this. Nothing has changed. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries just talked about how it's a conspiracy theory that we're saying that they may have known he had debilitating cancer while he was president. Or David Axelrod saying that we need to put criticism aside right now, right? And asking questions aside right now. No, David, this is exactly when we have to be asking questions. This is when we should be pushing this issue, right? No, they have not given up the ghost.
Absolutely.
They are not contrite. They are pushing forward with this, and all of America and the world should understand what we're dealing with when it comes to the media and how they view this. And by the way, I don't think there's any small, I think there's a connection between the fact that we're seeing this happen, right? These stories are coming out and Trump's approval rating are actually spiking for the first time. I think people are looking at what the quote unquote president was before and the president now and saying, I think we have it pretty good compared to what we had last 4 years. So yeah, I think there's a connection there.
And you make an excellent point on the timing of this cancer diagnosis, because again, this will be called a right-wing conspiracy theory, but I would suggest the majority of Americans at this point don't believe the official narrative, that they're only discovered in recent days that this advanced cancer exists. In fact, a number of experts have come out and said that's almost impossible to believe, given he is the president who would be subjected to regular health checkups, fairly thorough checkups. And it's just, to me, mind-blowing that Joe Biden's family, seeing his mental and physical decline, wanted him to run again, wanted him to serve 4 more years, and the Democrat machinery were happy to help him do that until that disastrous debate performance. It's almost cruel. I mean, put aside everything else, the lack of transparency, all the constitutional issues, but just the cruelty to a man who's obviously not fit to lead.
Yeah, and I'll say one of two things happened, Rita, okay? I think this is much clear. And none of them are good. And one is they knew about the cancer diagnosis and how severe it was and held it back and hid it, which is bad enough, right? And two is they didn't test him because they knew he probably had it, didn't want anyone to know, didn't want him to know, and held back this diagnosis 4 more years, leading to a more severe metastasized form of this cancer. It's one of those two things, and neither one are pretty, Rita.
No, they're both pretty ugly, and just the family members is mind-blowing that they would be party to any of that.